Our second guest today on Channel 18 is Barbara Ann Foley, the Director of the Council on Aging. And Barbara Ann has what she calls some snippets for us. So Barbara Ann, why don't you get going?
I do, Paul, thank you. So I do have a bunch of little things that are all important, so I thought I would just kind of go down that list. The first set of dates is October 24th, which is literally on Monday coming around the corner. And it begins two things. One, it's our supper club night, and we have a new performer that none of you have ever heard, well, at least not here. His name is Nick Panjakis, and he plays the guitar. Very fun, sing-along, and you should all come. So if you have not signed up yet for Supper Club, it's a $5 meal that includes the entertainment. It begins at 5 o'clock, and you need to sign up on the Friday before any Monday night meal. And you can do that by calling the 430-7550 number. On the same day, October 24th through November 4th, if you have not heard, there is something that our former Governor Deval Patrick put into place called early voting. And it means just that. It's anybody can go to Town Hall during the, Monday through Friday. There is one Saturday in there as well, during the hours of operation that they are open. And there will be 3 voting poll places for you to be able to go and cast your ballot. So the reason for that, that I mentioned that, is twofold. One is that our van will be available to pick people up. I will caution you, however, it's not a taxi service that can go kind of at a snap of a finger at your whim. We do have a schedule that we are doing, for the rest of the day, but we will work our best to try and get people in if they do indeed need the van to get there. So why cast your vote early? Well, Anita Doucette, our wonderful town clerk, has told us we have approximately 11,000 voters in this town, and about 6,000 to 8,000 of them will probably be here on November 8th casting their vote. We do our very level best to get people in and out as fast as possible. But if you are looking to try to avoid those lines, let's say you're vision impaired or you use a cane or a walker or a wheelchair, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can definitely not stand in those long lines, then you're the kind of person that definitely should be there between October 24th, and November 4th. So it is early voting. We are making the van available, and we wanted to make sure people knew about that. Halloween, we have our wonderful Halloween party, which I'm sure Carolyn has told you all about. The reason that I mention it is because we do not have our supper club on that night. We have a number of our senior citizens who are going to be volunteers that night, and they are going to be handing out everything from candy to toothbrushes to you name it. And we have a big pizza party afterwards. So there will not be supper club on Halloween Eve. The other thing I wanted to let you know is on November 1st, we are going to begin our Girl Power program. Girl Power, in a nutshell, is a program for girls. This time it's going to be grades 3 and 4, and it goes approximately 5 weeks, once a week, and it will begin on November 1st. We obviously skip November 8th, and it goes on from there. And it starts 3:45 to 5:15, and we are looking for mentors. So do you have to have any experience in teaching or anything else like that? Absolutely not. You just need to have a big, open, and kind heart, and obviously a willingness to have the time available and to work with young girls. And in November, going forward, on the day that we have our men's breakfast, if you've never been by the building during men's breakfast, you can't find a parking spot anywhere. There are approximately 80 to 90 men who come. It's a very, very wonderful and popular program that Kevin, our social service coordinator, puts together. And it has become so popular that we're kind of overstretching the kitchen. So we are not going to have lunch on the days that we have the men's breakfast. It's only once a month. But and Fridays are our leanest day for lunch, as it is anyway. So on those days, starting in November, The November men's breakfast is a week earlier. It's going to be on November 4th. And the reason for that is because November 11th is Veterans Day, and this building will be closed. On November 10th, if you are looking for a feel-good or a relaxing treatment, then the place to come is here on both November 10th and November 15th. You do have to make a reservation, however. So you would call the 430-7550 number. November 10th is zero balancing. What the heck does that mean? Well, her quote is, it's a powerful body-mind therapy that uses skilled touch to address relationships between energy and structures within the body. All I can tell you is it feels great. And it's one of those free things that we offer here at the council. It is by appointment. And if you would like to take advantage of it, you just call the COA. On November 15th, we have not one but two practitioners to do Reiki. Reiki, the word itself, is a Japanese word, and it means life energy. They are 20-minute appointments, and it's hands-on treatment that gently and powerfully, she says, promotes good health and well-being. Do you happen to be a caregiver? Well, if you are a caregiver, you definitely should come, and you should bring the person that you care for, because as I said, we have two practitioners, and they do the work at the same time. So if Paul was a spouse of mine and we came in together, Paul would be with one practitioner, I would be with the other, both at the same time. No need for anybody to, babysit or take care of the person while you're here. You bring the person with you as long as they physically can come. And again, that's another free appointment. And that's on November 15th by appointment again. November 8th, you've probably had by now pounded into your head, you should get out and vote. The one thing I don't want to hear from any of you is, I don't like either candidate, so I'm just not going to vote. That's just not an option, especially you women out there. We have fought so hard in this country to have the right to vote, and to just take it seems like a cop-out or a coward's way out to me to say, I don't feel like voting, I'm not going to vote, I don't like either one of them. There's a lot of important things on the ballot, and you really should make an informed decision and really educate yourself to be able to make a vote, because if you look at a lot of other countries, they don't have that opportunity, and you do. So you should be here on the 8th, unless you take advantage, of course, of that October 24th to November 4th. So lastly, a couple three things. On November 1st, we seldom remember to remind people that Barbara Eaton has been a very, very, long before my time at the COA, a long-time volunteer who comes and gives free hearing screenings. And I will tell you, this is not your grade school or high school. Can you hear this? Raise your hand. Can you hear that beep? Raise your hand. It's nothing like that. It's all electronic. It's done with headphones. It's very high tech. And it's very helpful to find out if there is any kind of hearing loss. And she'll give you a printout that shows you, it looks like a heart graph, kind of with a graph that tells you if there's hearing loss, and if there is, where it is. Is it the quieter tones that you can't hear, or is it the really loud tones? And if it's the loud tones that you can't hear, it's a little more dangerous, because that means that the quieter ones have already kind of gone by the wayside. So if you have never had that done, even if you don't think there's any hearing problem, definitely come. It's a free screening on November 1st, again by appointment though, you've got to call ahead of time. And if you're at home and you have a spouse who's saying to you, I'm 5 inches away from you, what do you mean you can't hear? You keep saying what? Then you definitely should come, because it probably means there's something going on. And it could be something as simple as a wax buildup. And there's oil drops, there's a lot of things that you can do and have that wax come out. And sometimes that's all it is, and it promotes better hearing. So November 1st. November is also National Screening for Memory Month, and you'll get this all in your newsletter. We will be doing 2 screenings here, 2 sets of them, on November 17th and 18th. And again, that'll be in your newsletter. And very last but not least, if you are or were a JFK fan, John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, you will remember probably a day in infamy that most people remember where they were the day he was killed. This year is the 53rd anniversary of his tragic death, and our very own outreach assistant and volunteer coordinator, Rick Anderson, is a huge, huge history buff and teacher. So on that day, he is from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock going to conduct a class on the life and times of John F. Kennedy. So if you're a Kennedy fan, you definitely will not want to miss this. There's no cost to it. You just need to sign up ahead of time. And again, it's 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on November 22nd. Pretty much everything I just said is all in your newsletter, except for Nick Panjakis coming on Monday. He didn't make it into newsletter because he called us afterwards, so I wanted to give him a little plug so that people sign up to come and listen and have supper. So I feel like we're finally all done, and I thank you very much for tuning in.
I would just like to add to that, on the 21st is when those of you who need Halloween costumes can come here and pick them up free.
Oh, right.
And Barbara Ann Foley needs some male costumes. So whatever you have, even if it's a mask or something, it can be a male costume. And you thought about bringing it, try and get it here by the 21st or on the 21st. Hopefully that somebody can use it.
That's Carolyn's wonderful name, The Boutique. I love that name.
Yes.
B-O-O, playing on the word for Halloween, obviously. And it's just a win-win. It's like recycling at its best. You get a free costume for children who are in need of one. And those are things that, I won't say wasteful, but I remember with my boys, we were so grateful when cousins and other people would say, oh, I've got a lion costume or a fill-in-the-blank costume, because going out and buying them it's for the one day. And then you know that the next year they're not going to fit, so it's got to go somewhere. Well, best to come here because other kids can enjoy it and benefit from it.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.